All right, so imagine this, right? You're a scientist trying to develop a life-saving treatment, but you're kind of stuck in this system where these clinical trials just take forever, it costs a ton of money,
Hmm.
and sometimes you run into some ethical dilemmas. And that's just the reality of drug development as it is right now. But what if there was a way we could, like, totally change the game?
That's where this company, Unlearn.ai, comes in. They're a health tech company, and they're doing some pretty incredible things, really shaking up the world of clinical trials with their AI-powered platform,
Hmm.
And it's all because of this really cool concept of digital twins. It might sound a little sci-fi at first, but it has the potential to really speed up the process of getting these new treatments to the people who need them.
So instead of all this paperwork, taking forever, we could actually be streamlining trials with the help of AI. I mean, that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But how do these digital twins actually work? It almost sounds too good to be true.
Well, imagine we could create like a virtual avatar of each patient in a trial. That's essentially what a digital twin is. Unlearn takes tons of real patient data, medical history, genetics, even lifestyle factors, and uses it to build these super detailed
So
simulations.
like a super-powered sim character for medical research. That's
Yeah.
wild. But how does that actually help with clinical trials?
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. These digital twins are so accurate that they can predict how a real person would respond to different treatments, and that includes placebos. So in a clinical trial, instead of having this huge group of real people getting a placebo, we can use these AI stand-ins and get comparable results.
Well, hold on. So you're saying we could potentially be giving fewer people placebos and getting these therapies out there faster. I mean, that's a huge win ethically and for getting those treatments out there.
Exactly. And since you need fewer actual patients in the trial, it's a lot cheaper too. So it's a
Yeah.
win-win, and it's definitely caught the eye of some of the big players in the pharmaceutical industry.
Now, I'm sure some people are going to be, well, a little skeptical about using AI for something as important as healthcare. What would you say to those people who might be worried about relying on technology too much for drug development?
I think those concerns are totally understandable, But Unlearn's platform is really all about making trials more efficient without compromising on that scientific rigor. The kind that's crucial for proving a drug is both safe and effective.
So it's more about like enhancing the process rather than replacing humans altogether.
Exactly. Think of it like giving these researchers a powerful new tool so they can work smarter, not harder. And the results, I mean, they speak for themselves. One of their biggest achievements was receiving a positive opinion from the European Medicines Agency back in 2022, which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, getting a positive opinion from the EMA. That's basically like getting a gold star from one of the toughest regulatory bodies in the world. They must have been seriously impressed. What exactly did they like about Unlearn's approach?
Well, one thing they highlighted was that even with the digital twins, Unlearn is still sticking to that gold standard of randomized controlled trials, which is so important for eliminating bias and ensuring the results are, rock solid. It's like flipping a coin to decide which patients get the new treatment and which get the placebo, to keep things fair and scientifically sound.
So no cutting corners, which is good to know. But regulatory approval is one thing. What about actual partnerships? Are any big pharma companies actually willing to give this technology a try?
Oh, absolutely. Unlearn has already teamed up with Merck KGA, which is a huge pharmaceutical company, to incorporate digital twins into their immunology trials. And it's not just Merck, they're working with a bunch of other companies, especially in areas like neurodegenerative diseases where we really need those new treatments.
So they're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk. And with some of the biggest names in the game, that's got to be a good sign for the future of Unlearn, right?
It definitely is. And it's not just these partnerships. They've already raised over $130 million in funding. And that kind of investment really shows the confidence people have in their potential to, shake things up in the pharmaceutical world.
It's a lot of money. So what makes Unlearn stand out? I'm sure there are other companies trying to use AI for clinical trials, right?
You're right, they're not the only ones. But they do have a few advantages. For one, they're really focused on keeping that randomization we talked about, which is something that sets them apart from some competitors who might be taking shortcuts. And those partnerships with the big pharmaceutical companies give them access to a lot of real-world data and expertise, which is really valuable for fine-tuning their technology. Plus, that positive opinion from the EMA gives them a lot of credibility.
Okay, so we've got rigorous science, strong partnerships, and regulatory backing. Sounds like they're setting themselves up for success. But where do they go from here? What's next for Unlearn?
Well, first of all, they're looking to expand into new areas, like cancer and cardiovascular disease. These are huge fields where faster, cheaper, and more efficient clinical trials could have a huge impact on people's lives, you know?
Yeah, expanding into those fields, I mean, that would be incredible. But it's not just about, tackling new diseases, right? What else are they doing to make their tech, even better and more accessible?
Right. They're definitely not just sitting back and relaxing. They actually developed this free online tool called Trial Pioneer, which I think is really cool.
Trial Pioneer, what is that? Why would they offer something like that for free?
It's basically a way for researchers to test out the technology. With Trial Pioneer, scientists and drug developers can put in all the details of their clinical trial and see how using digital twins could potentially reduce the number of participants, speed up the timeline, and still maintain those really important statistical results, you know?
So it's kind of like a try before you buy for cutting edge AI. That's pretty clever. It lets people see how it could actually benefit them without, having to commit right away.
Exactly. And it's a great way to educate the research community about digital twins and how they can be used in trials. But beyond just showcasing their tech, Unlearn has also been publishing their research and findings in all those peer-reviewed journals.
That's something I always like to see, that transparency. Especially when we're talking about healthcare. It's just, it builds trust and shows that they're not trying to hide anything.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Putting their work out there for everyone to scrutinize shows their commitment to good research. And it also lets other experts replicate the results and, contribute to the field as a whole.
It's a win-win. But let's be real for a sec. Every new technology has its potential downsides. What about digital twins? Are there any, concerns or risks that we should be aware of?
That's a great question. And it's one that Unlearn is definitely taking seriously. One of the biggest concerns with AI in general is that potential for bias. If the data used to train those digital twins isn't diverse enough, if it doesn't represent all the different types of people out there, the results could be skewed or even make existing healthcare disparities worse.
Yeah, we definitely don't want that. We got to make sure this tech benefits everyone, not just a select few. So
Yeah.
how is Unlearned addressing that?
They're taking a multi-pronged approach, which is good. First and foremost, they're trying to expand their data sets to include people from all different backgrounds, different ages, ethnicities, socioeconomic statuses, everything. The more diverse the data, the less likely those models are to be biased.
That makes sense.
Sure.
But it's not just about the data, right? We
Yeah.
also need to make sure the AI algorithms themselves are designed to be fair.
Oh, absolutely. It's not enough to just feed the AI a bunch of diverse data. You got to make sure it's actually learning from it the right way and not perpetuating harmful stereotypes or biases. Unlearn is actually working on developing methods to detect and fix potential biases within their algorithms. It's a constant process of, improvement and refinement.
So they're aware of those potential pitfalls and are working to avoid them, which
Mm.
is good. But aside from bias, are there any other concerns that have been raised?
One thing that comes up a lot with technology is reliability. What if there's a glitch or the system crashes in the middle of a trial? Those things can happen, even with the best tech.
Yeah, that's a valid concern. We're talking about people's health, so there's no room for mistakes. How are they ensuring the platform is stable and dependable?
They've actually built in multiple layers of redundancy and security to try to minimize the risk of any problems. It's kind of like having backup generators at a hospital. Even if one system goes down, there's another one ready to go.
Okay, so they've got a backup plan. But beyond the technical side of things, there's also that human element to consider. Some people might worry that relying on technology too much could make healthcare, less personal.
That's a really important point, and one we should definitely think about. But Unlearn's technology is designed to support healthcare professionals, not replace them.
So it's not about taking humans out of the equation. It's about giving doctors and researchers better tools.
Exactly. Think of it like giving doctors a high-tech assistant, one that can analyze tons of data and give them insights they might not have seen otherwise. So they can focus on what they do best, connecting with patients and creating personalized treatment plans.
I like that technology and human expertise working together. But shifting gears a bit, where does Unlearn see itself in the future? What's their big goal?
They want to be the gold standard for AI-powered clinical trial design. They want to be the go-to platform for anyone looking to use digital twins in their research.
So like the Google of clinical trials.
Mhm.
That's ambitious. What are they doing to achieve that?
Well, they're investing a lot in research and development, constantly improving their platform. And they're building those important partnerships with key players in the healthcare industry.
And don't forget about getting those regulatory approvals all over the world.
Right. Global expansion is definitely part of the plan. And it's not just investors they're attracting. They're also bringing in some of the best minds in tech and healthcare. They're building this dream team of engineers, data scientists, clinicians, and business leaders, all working towards the same goal of, revolutionizing how we develop treatments.
It sounds like they have everything they need to be successful. But even with a great product, a great team, and a clear vision, there are always challenges. What are some of the challenges they might face as they grow?
One of the biggest challenges, and it's something everyone in this field faces, is navigating all those regulations. The rules around clinical trials are always changing, and it can be tough to keep up.
So they need to be adaptable, right? Ready to change when they need to.
Yeah. Exactly. And they also need to, win over the research community. Not everyone is ready to embrace AI, especially in healthcare. There can be a lot of, resistance and skepticism.
So they need to prove their technology works and build trust.
Yeah, they need to be proactive, engage with researchers, show them the value of their technology, and really emphasize that they're trying to enhance human expertise, not replace it. It's about showing how Unlearn can help researchers do what they do best, just even better.
It sounds like they have a lot on their plate, but they seem ready for it. It's really inspiring to see a company using technology for good, pushing the boundaries in healthcare, and paving the way for a brighter future.
It really shows you what we can accomplish when we use technology to address these big healthcare challenges. And what I find really interesting is how Unlearn isn't just improving trials, they're kind of changing the way we think about drug development as a whole.
Okay, now I got to know more. What do you mean by, changing the way we think about it? It's more than just, making trials faster and cheaper.
Absolutely. Just imagine if we could use these digital twins, not just in the trials, but throughout the whole process of developing a drug. We could test new drugs virtually before we even get to those expensive trials. We could potentially save years of research and development.
So it's like having a virtual lab.
Yeah.
You can experiment with treatments and see how they might work in a, simulated body before you even get to real patients. That's amazing.
Exactly. And think about the potential for personalized medicine. We could create digital twins so specific to a patient that we could tailor treatments to their genes, lifestyle, medical history, everything. It's about moving away from this one-size-fits-all approach and towards truly personalized care.
Wow, it's like a custom designed treatment plan. No more guesswork. Just precise therapies based on your specific needs. That sounds like, the future of healthcare.
It really does, doesn't it? But like with any powerful tool, we need to use it wisely and ethically. There are some big questions we need to consider as this technology keeps developing.
Yeah, we can't get too caught up in all the possibilities without thinking about, the potential downsides. What are some of those ethical concerns around digital twins?
Data privacy is a big one. I mean, these digital twins use a ton of personal health information, so we have to make sure that data is protected and used responsibly. We also have to be aware of potential biases, like we talked about before. And then there's the question of access and equity. We need to make sure everyone benefits from this technology, not just the people who can afford it or live in certain areas.
Those are all important points.
Yeah.
It sounds like we have a lot of work to do, not just with the science and tech, but also with the ethics and how we incorporate this into society.
Exactly. We need to approach this with both excitement and caution. Embrace the good stuff, but also watch out for the potential problems. It's a balancing act, but it's crucial if we want to use digital twins to really improve healthcare.
Well, this has been a fascinating look into the world of Unlearn.ai and digital twins. It's incredible how much progress has been made, and it's exciting to think about what the future holds.
Yeah, it feels like we're at the start of a new era in medicine, an era where tech helps us understand and treat diseases in ways we never thought possible.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? As we've seen today, AI is changing medicine fast. Unlearn's digital twins give us a peek into a future where clinical trials are quicker, cheaper, and focused on the patient. A future where personalized medicine is the standard. But with all this power comes responsibility. We need to keep asking those tough questions about ethics, access, and fairness to make sure this tech benefits everyone. It's an exciting time, and we're all part of it.